Daily Dawg Chow, September 18th. Browns news. Would they trade Jerome Ford? More of the latest Browns news and notes from around the web in today's dose of the Daily Dawg Chow. The latest Cleveland Browns coverage from Dogs by Nature. Browns vs. Packers injury report. Back injury, concussion keep two starters out, Jared Mueller. Injuries could impact Browns vs. Packers in Week 3. Green Bay Packers vs. Cleveland Browns. Week 3 TV map, Chris Picorni. See which cities get to watch the Packers vs. Browns game on television this week. Browns, 3 positives amid a rough start to the season, Thomas Moore. It's no fun being 0-2, but there are a few bright spots for the Cleveland Browns. Browns roster desperately needs cornerback. Free agent options, Barry Shuck. Browns roster has a few holes, but slot cornerback is a big one needing free agent addressing. More Cleveland Browns news. Why the Cleveland Browns could trade their longest tenured running back, Sports Illustrated. At 0-2, the Cleveland Browns have had a difficult time running the football, but that might not stop them from trading their longest tenured running back. Watch, Cleveland Browns coach Kevin Stefanski discusses team's offensive struggles, Akron Beacon Journal. Cleveland Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski believes the team's offense will eventually evolve into a better unit. PFF report card, grades and data from the Cleveland Browns Week 2 loss to the Baltimore Ravens, OBR. Taking a look at Pro Football Focus's grades and data for the Cleveland Browns Week 2 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. Is it time for Shedeur Sanders? Joe Flacco is on the ropes as the Cleveland Browns quarterback, Marca. Cleveland's struggles aren't surprising, and all signs point to more of the same throughout 2025 unless something extraordinary happens, which at this point seems highly unlikely. Browns get some interesting injury news, YouTube. Quincy Carrier reacts to the latest. Cleveland Browns fans woke up to another swirl of questions this Wednesday morning. The September air had cooled, the chatter of NFL trade rumors had heated, and as always, the Dog Pound had something new to chew on. The Daily Dawg Chow served up a plate of storylines, a struggling offense, a fan base split down the middle, whispers of possible trades, and at the center of it all, running back Jerome Ford. Would the Browns really consider trading him? Should they? And if not Ford, who or what could be moved as Cleveland searches for an identity in a season teetering between disaster and promise? This is the Dawg Chow for September 18th, a deep dive into the Browns state, Ford's place in it, and the undercurrents swirling through Berea. Jerome Ford, from afterthought to trade chip? When the Browns drafted Jerome Ford in the 5th round of the 2022 NFL Draft, nobody pegged him as a future headline grabber. He was a depth piece, a developmental runner behind the perennial workhorse Nick Chubb and veteran fill-ins. But as the NFL has taught us time and time again, running back depth charts can flip on a dime. Chubb's injuries, Kareem Hunt's departure, and the team's offensive inconsistencies have thrust Ford into a more prominent role. He's shown flashes, burst through the line, patience on zone runs, and a surprising ability to catch passes out of the backfield. He's not a star, but he's serviceable. And in today's NFL, serviceable running backs carry value. That's why the question even exists. Would Cleveland trade him? Some insiders argue yes. Ford isn't untouchable, one AFC scout allegedly told a Cleveland area beat writer. He's not Chubb. He's not even Hunt at his prime. He's replaceable. If a team comes calling, Cleveland has to listen. Others argue no. Ford, they say, represents continuity in a locker room desperately searching for it. Trading him would leave the Browns thin at a position that has already been rattled by injuries and inconsistency. And perhaps most importantly, what message would it send to a fan base that's already skeptical of management's direction? The case for trading Ford. Let's play out the logic of those who'd send Ford packing. Value now, not later. Running backs depreciate faster than a used car driven off the lot. Ford's rookie contract makes him cheap, but cheap doesn't equal long-term planning. If a playoff contender like the Ravens, Dolphins, or Cowboys offered a mid-round draft pick, the Browns could use that pick on offensive line depth, a young corner, or a future receiver. Roster shuffling. The Browns are trying to figure out their quarterback situation, Shedeur Sanders drama, and stabilize the offensive line. Running back depth isn't the top priority. Trading Ford might create short-term pain, but it could provide long-term flexibility. The Moneyball philosophy. Cleveland's front office has long flirted with analytics-driven decisions. The cold, hard math says, don't invest heavily in running backs. They're interchangeable. Plug and play. If Ford can bring back something better than his production, the numbers suggest you make the move. The case against trading Ford. And then there's the other side, the voice of the dog pound purists who'd rather chew glass than watch Ford leave. Stability behind Chubb. Nick Chubb, beloved as he is, has battled injury after injury. Even if he's back, the coaching staff can't run him 25 times a game anymore. Ford is the insurance policy, and Cleveland can't afford to gamble on Chubb's health without one. Locker room optics. Trading Ford mid-season sends the wrong signal. Players notice when a front office sacrifices talent for draft picks, especially when the season is still salvageable. Morale matters, and Ford has become a quiet glue guy in the locker room. Production you can count on. Ford's numbers aren't eye-popping, but he moves the chains. He catches the ball. He blocks on third down. He understands the system. The Browns don't have the luxury of plugging in an untested rookie or practice squad body. More Browns notes for September 18th. While Ford trade speculation dominated the headlines, the Daily Dawg Chow served up plenty of other side dishes. 1. Shedeur Sanders watch. Yes, we can't escape it. Rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders continues to hover in the conversation, despite veteran Joe Flacco starting. Analysts on ESPN and FS1 speculated whether Sanders could step in before November. One insider even suggested that head coach Kevin Stefanski has quietly designed packages for Sanders, testing him in live practices against the first-team defense. The dog pound is divided. Half want the rookie now, half fear throwing him into the fire too early. But make no mistake, Sanders remains the future, or at least, the front office desperately wants him to be. 2. Defensive line shuffle. Cleveland's defense remains its saving grace. Myles Garrett is a one-man wrecking crew, but the team has quietly experimented with more rotations inside. Word around Berea is that defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is considering sliding Garrett inside on key third downs, pairing him with a speed rusher outside to maximize chaos. Expect more looks like this against pass-heavy opponents. 3. Injury report. The Browns' injury report reads like a horror novel. Chubb limited, offensive guard Joel Bitonio nursing a nagging knee, and corner Denzel Ward questionable. Depth pieces like Ford suddenly look much more valuable when the attrition of an NFL season sets in. 4. Trade rumors beyond Ford. While Ford's name has been floated, he's not the only Brown who could be on the block.